World War II was the most devastating conflict in human history. It lasted from 1939 to 1945 and involved more than 30 countries across the globe. Entire nations were consumed by war, cities were destroyed, and tens of millions of lives were lost. To understand how it began, how it unfolded, and how it finally ended, we need to go back to the years following the First World War. When World War I ended in 1918, the Treaty of Versailles placed harsh conditions on Germany. The country was forced to pay massive reparations, give up territories, and accept severe restrictions on its military. This left Germany humiliated, impoverished, and filled with resentment. In this climate of anger and hardship, Adolf Hitler and his Nazi Party rose to power in 1933. Hitler promised to restore Germany's strength, rebuild its pride, and expand its territory. Germany first rearmed in secret, defying the treaty. Then, in 1938, it annexed Austria in what was called the Anschluss. Soon after, it took over Czechoslovakia. The world powers watched with concern but took little action, hoping to avoid another large-scale war. But everything changed on the 1st of September, 1939, when Germany invaded Poland. 2 days later, Britain and France declared war on Germany. The Second World War had officially begun. Germany unleashed its Blitzkrieg strategy, which means lightning war. With fast-moving tanks, planes, and infantry, German forces quickly crushed Poland. In the following months, Germany turned west, defeating Denmark, Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands, and finally France in 1940. In just 6 weeks, France fell, shocking the world. Britain now stood alone against Nazi Germany. Meanwhile, Italy under Benito Mussolini joined the war as Germany's ally. Together, Germany, Italy, and later Japan formed the Axis powers. On the other side, Britain and its allies resisted. The United States at first remained neutral, though it supported Britain with supplies and weapons. The war soon spread across continents. In 1941, Germany invaded the Soviet Union, breaking their non-aggression pact. At the same time, in Asia, Japan expanded aggressively. On the 7th of December, 1941, Japan attacked the American naval base at Pearl Harbor. This attack drew the United States directly into the war, turning it into a truly global conflict. By 1942, battles raged across Europe, Africa, and the Pacific. The war was marked not only by military campaigns but also by unimaginable human suffering. The Holocaust, carried out by Nazi Germany, led to the systematic extermination of 6 million Jews, along with millions of others, including Romani people, Slavs, disabled individuals, and political prisoners. Civilians became targets, cities were bombed, and hunger and fear spread everywhere the war reached. The tide began to turn against the Axis powers in 1942 and 1943. In the Soviet Union, the Battle of Stalingrad marked a decisive defeat for Germany. In North Africa, Allied forces pushed back German and Italian armies. In the Pacific, the United States won key victories at battles such as Midway, slowly turning the momentum against Japan. In 1944, the Allies launched one of the most important operations of the war, the D-Day invasion. On the 6th of June, Allied forces landed on the beaches of Normandy, France. It was the largest seaborne invasion in history. From there, Allied troops began liberating Western Europe from Nazi control. By early 1945, Soviet forces were advancing from the east, while American, British, and Canadian forces pressed from the west. Germany was trapped. In April, Adolf Hitler committed suicide in his bunker in Berlin. On May 8, 1945, Germany officially surrendered. This day became known as Victory in Europe Day, or VE Day. But the war was not yet over. In the Pacific, Japan continued to resist despite devastating losses. To force Japan to surrender, the United States made a fateful decision. On the 6th of August, 1945, an atomic bomb was dropped on the city of Hiroshima. 3 days later, another bomb was dropped on Nagasaki. The destruction was unimaginable. Finally, on the 2nd of September, 1945. Japan surrendered. World War II had ended. The cost of the war was staggering. Between 70 and 85 million people died, including soldiers and civilians. This was nearly 3% of the world's population at that time. Cities lay in ruins, millions were displaced, and entire nations faced the task of rebuilding. The war also marked the beginning of the nuclear age and the Cold War rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union. World War II remains the deadliest and most widespread conflict in history. It showed both the heights of human courage and the depths of human cruelty. The lessons it left behind continue to shape the modern world, reminding us of the dangers of hatred, aggression, and unchecked power.